What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag and I'm here with
NB.
And we are recapping Season 7, Episode 5 of Game of Thrones called Eastwatch.
And jam-packed. I'm exhausted just thinking about all the things that happened. And really, guys, when they said that this season was going to be fast-paced, they did not joke at all.
Yeah.
This episode was insanely fast.
It's so fast.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's get right into it.
Break it down.
Okay, so we start back off at the Reach, because that's where the little battle happened last time. Jaime was thrown into the water, and we assumed by Bronn, and we were right. And here is my question. You know, we both said it while we were watching the episode. How did Jaime and Bronn swim from where the water...
This is where, I really question them as, I get what they're trying to do. I understand it. But at the same time, first of all, it doesn't even make sense because Tyrion ended up going there anyways to talk to him.
Yeah.
First of all, Jaime fell into the water, right beside Khaleesi. Not 30 feet away. No, he got pushed into the water, right there.
5 feet.
How are you telling me the minute when they jumped into the water, Bronn was able to, jetpack him across the lake to the other side? No. In that moment, Khaleesi could have been, grab him, from the water.
Exactly. He's literally right there.
She's literally right beside them.
He's sinking straight down.
Yeah. It's not like he's, flying across the lake and then he fell. The dumbest mistake ever.
At the end of last episode, we kind of had some clues as to what might have happened, and we were like, yeah, maybe he'll get kidnapped or captured, and then there'll be conversation at least between Jaime and Tyrion, and then we can do that stuff.
Because it just didn't make sense.
And guys, what a fail on the writing.
He fell into the water right beside Khaleesi. And it wasn't like Khaleesi was knocked out or had to take a breath. No, she was fully up and
she was right there.
And her army was there too. So they could have pulled him out of the water.
And it took them
made no sense.
It took them 5 hours to float across. And also not float because guys,
you're right.
You know how heavy that armor is? He literally sank as soon as he hit the water.
Yeah.
You're telling me that
Bronn carried him.
Is like Aquaman and is able to pull him.
It was bullshit. I know, it was really bullshit. And at the same time, I was like, okay, maybe Khaleesi already dipped. She went home. Yeah. No, she was literally still there, on the other side of the lake, talking to everyone else that survived the war. Yeah. So I was like, this doesn't make sense at all. It didn't make sense at all.
So I'm not okay with that part of the writing.
I was like, well, this
sometimes Game of Thrones, we give them so much credit because they're like, this show's so amazing, there's dragons, but then they miss all these things and you're like, no, they're not amazing, okay? Because you guys are still doing these dumb plot holes.
Yeah. Okay,
whatever. We're gonna go with it, I guess. So then it kind of cuts to, as you were mentioning, all the rest of the survivors, the Tarleys, and I guess whoever else was the Lannister people.
Right.
They're all captured, the ones who survived, and they have to bend the knee in front of Dany, and Drogon's chilling on the rock.
I'll give you guys two choices: either you bend the knee for me, or I'm gonna kill you. That's it, right?
It's pretty tight, but she doesn't really give them much of a choice.
Tyrion's sketching out the whole time. He's
he's like, this is so morally incorrect.
Just this is her choice that she's giving them. Just deal with it.
So everybody sits the fuck down. Everybody sits down except for
the father.
The father, Tarly, the guy who Sam's dad.
And then Sam's brother.
Sam's brother, Dickon. And so they're like, we're not gonna do it. And then he has such a stupid reasoning too. He basically says because she's a foreigner. I'm not gonna bend the knee. It's so old school, dumb.
Which doesn't make sense to me because she was born in Westeros.
She was born in Westeros.
Because he even said, he goes, you weren't even born here. But she was though. She was born, but she left when she was a baby.
But then also he looked over to Tyrion too and was like, you're a freaking, you betrayed your family.
Yeah, you're a betrayer too.
It's different. I guess it's different, but at the same time, nobody's innocent in war.
I was surprised that the brother did the same thing because I was like, okay, is this gonna leave room for the next generation to come through?
Yeah.
But then the brother said too, he's like, no, you have to kill me too. So I was like, okay. And I looked at J-Lag and I was like, Sam's gonna come back home and he's gonna be king now.
He'll be the king of his castle now because the entire line.
Because he's the only guy now. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so the first thing that I wrote down is, why is Tyrion sketching out? Why do you think that he was freaking out at this whole particular moment?
I don't know. I think that he's sketching out because he knows that they're Lannister men and that they fought for them for their families. I get why he's like very like he's scared that she's becoming like the Mad King again. Yeah. Like she's like burning people. Yeah. But like he needs to like just.
So this brings me to my next question, and I think it's going to be like a big topic in the rest of the show. Is do you think that they'll turn, and by they I mean the writers and the way that the show is going to end up? Do you think they'll end up turning Daenerys into a villain? Do you think it's possible that
I mean, I'm sure they're going to play with it. I'm sure they're going to play with that theme because we've been on her side the entire time. Yeah. But at the same time, like, the season's finishing. Like, not the season, even the series. Like, next season's, like, going to be done soon, too. So, like, I don't know how long they can go with making her into the villain. Yeah.
I just feel like we're rooting, like, it's, like, this whole idea of, like, being, like, the good people and the bad people. And we've always been on this angle of her and the dragons and the power. And she's going to be different. We're breaking the wheel. She said it again. And I'm going to be different. But then she has this very, like, strong hand at her, the way she commands things. I guess we also have to remember that she didn't get where she is by just being like, please, can you be like a part of my team?
Yeah,
like, I mean, maybe in some places, but in a lot of places, she's had to burn some shit down. Like, that's kind of the way what she's had to do. Yeah. But I really feel like in the last, I'd say like this past season especially, they're really kind of showing these undertones of her potentially becoming this volatile, potentially dangerous villain, maybe, you know, like this dictator in a way, right? Because at the end of the day, her choice is you either respect me or you're gonna die. Yeah. You know,
but what's the alternative though? Like, go back to your home? No.
I mean, she keeps mentioning this whole idea of wanting to break the system and wanting to be different, but what is she gonna be bringing forward to Westeros that's gonna be any different?
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
Like, you have to, like, I'm thinking about, you know, we saw her as the breaker of chains. But she also needs an army
that listens to her. She can't. You know what I mean? Like, they're not bowing down to her. So, like, you got to go.
That's true.
That's it. Like, you're not.
But also, these guys own houses and castles and land. So, it's not just the armies. It's the respect of those people. They're going to find out that, like, they burn them the fuck down. Yeah. She's going to be like, oh, she burned them. And now she's, like, a crazy woman, you know? And, yeah, I think that whole thing between Tyrion and being like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And the fact that she's like, I'm going to do it anyway. I gave them a choice and that's too bad. I feel like it's going to come up a little bit more often because I feel like they wouldn't have just put that in there without us having to feel something about it. And I definitely could see them kind of going to that direction where twist, she ends up being like the evil woman, because we're always talking about these like similarities between Cersei and how she's starting to become more like the Mad King because she's sitting on the Iron Throne. Yeah. But who's to say that Dany's going to be any different? And if she is already doing it, you know, she's kind of rolling in being like this like fierce person.
I don't know. Like I said, like, I don't know how much story there is left just to focus on her. Yeah. Because I feel like there's still so much that they have to explain and tell. True. So I don't know. True.
Anyway, we'll see. So then it cuts to King's Landing. As you were saying, freaking acceleration. Jamie's back at King's Landing from the freaking Reach.
He's like, I gotta go tell Cersei about this all.
Yeah, right.
And he's like already there. Like he's like literally storming down the hallway. He's like like he's gonna like.
Speaking of which, like before, like right after like they got pulled out of the water, Bronn essentially said the same thing that I was like, that is the stupidest reason why you would freaking like jump in front of a dragon. He's like, you're not dying before I get what I want. I'm like, oh my god, you literally tried to kill, like you almost killed yourself just so you can get your freaking castle. Okay, bye. So anyway. Yeah, Jamie's back in King's Landing, and Cersei is not too happy with him. She's like, what the fuck did you do? Yeah. She's like, what happened?
Like, what happened? How many men did we lose? Yeah. Like,
he's like, everybody, basically. He's like, everyone's gone.
She has 3 dragons.
And he's like...
And, like, that was only one of them. Yeah. Like, can you imagine there was 3 of them?
Yeah. And so she's kind of feeling frustrated, angry, and, like, a little defeated, I guess. And she doesn't know what to do with him either, because she's like pissed at him. She's like, what the fuck did you do? Yeah. You know, like, so useless. Yeah. You said it too at the end of the day. He didn't really have...
But she got her gold, right? So, like, who cares?
Yeah, it's true. She's like, I can just buy more mercenaries with the gold that we got. And he's like, nah, we're gonna lose this war. Like, I saw one dragon. We're fucked. Yeah. So she's kind of in a really tight position right now. And I forget... I think he said something about like Tyrion, right? Did he say something about like we need to talk to Tyrion, or did you see Tyrion there?
I can't remember.
He comes up in conversation because then she's like, oh, my stupid, like, our stupid brother. Oh, she suggested, I think, she's like, maybe we can talk to Tyrion and he can, like, talk to her and, like, negotiate some shit. Even though he killed our, like, father and our son.
Yeah.
And then, like,
oh, that's when he says it. Yeah.
Bomb drop, and then Jaime's like, actually,
he's like, he didn't kill our son.
Her. He didn't kill him. And then he goes on to say that Olenna admitted it, and he kind of, you know, like, he's obviously like, my bad, I gave her the poison and then she told me.
Yeah.
And then Cersei's like, you should have.
Which is exactly what we said. We're like, yeah, she's that, like, she couldn't kill her herself.
She couldn't, like, make him suffer
like,
more. Yeah, exactly. And anyway, the whole scene ends off with her being very frustrated with Jaime, even more so, if anything. And she's basically like, I know my choices now, because he's like, you're basically fucked. So she's like, I either fight and die or I surrender and die. Mm-hmm. And you should know your position as the soldier. Mm-hmm. So, like, you got to fight and die, basically, is what she says to him. And then it cuts to Dragonstone.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to sit, and neither should you. So.
Yeah, we got to do something. And then it cuts to... Do you want to talk about Jaime and Cersei right now, or we can cut to them later?
No, because they have the other scene after.
Dragonstone, and our queen returns with Drogon, and they roll up right in front of Jon Snow, who's like chilling just, on a cliff.
Looking, like off the cliff.
And it is one of the most powerful, like, dragon interactions we've ever had.
Yeah.
And we're kind of starting to, like, make our little connections and little theories that are going to come up.
I always said, I was like, we're going to know who Jon is, hopefully through more, like, dragon interactions with him and the dragons, because like, he has a connection with them.
Yeah.
And this scene was just beautiful, like the way they shot it, and like the way the dragon comes down to Jon, and like he touches the dragon, and the eyes, they just look at each other's eyes.
At first,
oh my God, it
was
like a
Drogon's
moment.
like screaming, and he's like baring his teeth, and then he gets so close, like a foot away from him.
Yeah.
And then Jon decides to take his glove off, and then he like reaches out to like pet him, and he lets him pet him. And actually, I was telling NB too, like, this is the first time that we've seen the detail in the dragons.
Like, they did
a phenomenal job with like how much detail they put into like the skin and the eyeball. And yeah, you're right. They obviously like focused in on his eye because you wanted to see that connection that he's making with Jon. It's almost like this unspoken connection
this
that
bond.
Almost like Drogon knows.
Yeah, for sure. And it had to be that way too.
Yeah, even though Jon doesn't technically know yet. Right.
And to see Khaleesi see it. Like
she was like lurking up the entire. She's like, "What's going on?" Because she's like,
she's
sitting.
like on his back. I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Get off!" But like, she was lurking and she saw everything. She was like, "Whoa!" Like, she's that's like, weird. He's coming like,
close or whatever. And on top of this, guys, come on! By this point in time, she's feeling some type of way.
Yeah. She's like,
"Come on!" She's like, "My
Snow.
kids like you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's like get this going. You know, like that's gonna be a thing." So now I feel like we can talk about this particular situation. The dragon riders of the three dragons. So we kind of, I feel like it's in the lore. It's in like all these like, fan theories and stuff that there's 3 dragons and she only rides one. She only rides Drogon. She never rides Rhaegon or Viserion. So the question is, are they going to be ridden? And if so, who will ride them? And now that we've seen another hand being, or another connection between another human, we look back and we remember that there was somebody else who had that same, almost exact parallel connection. Do you want to say it?
Who?
Oh, it was Tyrion.
Well, he did touch the dragon, right?
He did touch the dragon.
So then, it's going to be the 3 of them.
So Tyrion did it when she dipped, she got kidnapped or whatever by those guys.
Yes.
And he had to let them out.
Yes.
I don't know which one it was.
in the cave.
But in the caves, he had to let them go. So they already made that connection.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then now Jon made that connection. So now we have
the 3 riders.
The potential 3 riders. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah. I think that's for sure what's gonna happen.
Like you see that happening for sure.
Yeah.
And definitely it'd be amazing.
Look, and that's the thing. I understand that like Jon has Targaryen roots and Khaleesi, and they have the dragons. So I don't understand how like Tyrion is involved in all of that.
True. I guess because he's a Lannister, like you have
what
like.
What does that have to do? No. No. Maybe he's secretly Targaryen. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know what it is. Or maybe he's not. Maybe
just because like he's like just like a good person.
Yeah. He just gets to ride a dragon just because.
Yeah.
I definitely I can definitely see now Jon and Rhaegon making that connection.
Yeah, Jon and Rhaegon for sure.
Rhaegar is his dad.
Is his daddy.
So that'd be really, really cool if he ends up riding him. And then, like, out of nowhere, we get another freaking reveal. Everybody's, like, literally driving cars, like Tesla cars through freaking Westeros like, right now.
It's so fast.
So freaking fast. So the Dothraki come up and they're like, hey, some guy's here to see you. He says, like, he's, like, a part of your clan or whatever. And then he, like, moves to the side and it's Jorah Mormont.
She's like, that is my friend.
She's like, true, he is.
And then, like, they have a cute moment. He's like, I'm back. I'm healed. Like, I'm back to normal.
Yeah. So, what did you think about this whole situation?
It was so cute.
Having him come back now.
So cute.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, we always wanted that kind of, like, reunion. And, like, she's so happy to see him.
And also, like, you're just seeing all the connections happening, too. Like, even Jon was like, oh, like... He's like, I knew your dad. Like, so everyone has these connections, and like, right to the end of the episode when you see all those guys after, like, everyone is connected in a way.
Yeah, it's true.
It's really cool to see
cool.
all
like,
those
these
things
final
happening.
players are all very connected with each other. So yeah, Jorah's all like happy. She's all happy. Like they're like loving looks. Like Jorah's still in love with her.
Jorah's like deaf in love with her.
And already he's already feeling some type of way about Jon. Like,
he's like, who are you?
So there's that going on. And then it cuts to Winterfell, and Bran's working out. Like, he's just, like, checking things out.
He's, like, looking at things. He's like, flying high.
Yeah, he's a raven, and he's, like, flying with his squad. And he, like, keeps going further, just past the wall. And it's, like, maybe, like, over, like, one more mountain.
Yeah.
And it's, like, the
army.
The army's coming. So they're pretty close now.
Yeah.
And so he, like, glitches back into his body, and then he, like, turns to the person and is like, we need to get going.
Yeah.
We need to start sending out ravens. So he does. And then in the Citadel, they get like the email real quick. Like quick.
Right away. Like, the next scene they're like, oh, we received a raven.
So it's like the Archmaester, and he's having like a little council table talking with all the other old maesters and a board meeting. Like, just like getting updates on the meetings. The minutes, and they're like, we found this one, and he's like, we shouldn't like really listen to it. It's about some like kid. He's like a cripple, and
like he sees the thing.
They're like laughing about it, and at that moment, Sam walks in with like scrolls, and he's like, oh, you're talking about Bran
Stark.
Like, listen, he like went up the wall, and I like let him out, and he came back
like
alive.
that. And that was like how many years ago? And a crippled boy survived all those years.
It's like, maybe you should listen to him.
Like, yeah.
And so once again, the Archmaester's like, nah.
Literally, like, they laugh at his face.
Like seriously.
They're like, oh, what are you talking about?
I feel like it's happened so many times that I'm like, it's becoming comical.
Yeah, it is.
And
it is. It's just like, it's annoying that it took them like episode 5 for him to be like, okay, I'm done now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So then at that point in time, we're like trying to figure out like where this is gonna go. You know what I mean? Like,
with Sam
and the Archmaester not believing him, not believing him. So then it kind of concludes with like Sam like making this like big speech, being like, "You gotta listen, you gotta do this," and the Archmaester's like, "We'll send a raven back. We'll get more details from them, and then that's it. Like that, we're done."
Yeah.
And then they like let him go, or like he goes off, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, is that Sam, the one who like lost his brother and his dad like got burned alive?" And then the Archmaester's like, yeah, true, I didn't tell him that though. So anyway, we'll get to it later. Then it cuts to Dragonstone, and Tyrion is like drinking his wine. He's like feeling some type of way. He's chilling with Varys, and Varys is upset. Like, you can tell that Varys is like a little frustrated. He's like, what's happening?
Like, she's going crazy. She's gonna become like the Mad King.
Yeah, because Varys, I guess, has a lot of like he
remembers it. Yeah, he remembers it.
He's like, you know what? I always like, because you could hear Tyrion legitimizing everything that happens. He's like, you know, she's not like the Mad King. She's only doing it because like she literally had no other choice. And then Varys like is quick to remind him that, you know, I thought the same thing. I was just bringing him the traitors. I was not the one that was like burning them alive, but still, obviously, I'm doing something wrong. Yeah. So he's like, we have to make sure that we keep good counsel for her, or else she's gonna turn into
she's gonna lose it. Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, what's this scroll that you're like reading? He's like, oh, it's nothing. It's like some waste scroll.
No, he was like, it's sealed. Like, as in like, it's for Jon Snow and it's sealed. So as in like, I can't look at it.
Slash, like,
and Tyrion's like, okay, but like, what does it really say? And he's like, nothing really good. I'm like, wow, what a gossip queen.
And then he opens it up, and then Jon's kind of like around her council table, and he like reads it. He's like, I thought my sister was dead. I thought my brother was dead.
Yeah.
And then Daenerys is like, I'm happy for you, but you don't seem happy. Like, cool. You're like, really seem frustrated. And he's like, well, yeah, because basically Bran also said like, P.S. they're all coming now. You better like turn up. And so he's kind of freaking out. And she's like, okay, like if this is actually what's happening, like what do you want us to do? Yeah. What are you going to do? And Tyrion decides that maybe it's a good idea to distract Cersei by capturing a white. So like capturing a white from beyond the wall and then
showing her evidence, like this is happening.
Yeah, showing Cersei that this is what's happening. We have to stop fighting for a minute just so we can deal with this other shit that's going on. So and
in my head, I'm like, okay, by episode, the last one, they'll do this mission. No, like the mission happens like right now.
Right now. Like it's
the
happening.
Next frame, like they're there.
Yeah. So they're putting together their team, their squad or whatever. And Jon's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then Jorah kind of volunteers himself to be like, I will be the one to serve you, queen. I'm going to go with them. And then Jon's like, I'm going to go too. And they're like, no, you can't go. Like you're the king of the north or whatever.
He's like, no, I'm going.
And then she's like, I didn't give you permission to go. And he's like, all due respect, I'm a king.
Yeah.
But also like,
she's like, don't leave me.
She's so high key not wanting him to leave. She's like, please don't leave me. Please don't leave. Like every time the camera cuts to him,
she was giving him looks for sure.
She's like, come back.
Like longing looks. Yeah.
So we're definitely seeing that like continue to like come together. Then it cuts to Winterfell. And Sansa's kind of like holding down the fort. All of the kings and like the leaders or whatever are getting really cheesed. They're like, the king of the north is staying in the north. And where is he?
He like ghosted us.
Freaking out. And we have it like in the perspective of Arya. And Arya's kind of just sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
And she's like observing and spying. But not to the point where Sansa can't book her to.
Right.
So she knows that she's paying attention to. And so Sansa is like trying to like calm them down. And they're like shit talking Jon. And then she's like, listen, I'm here to like help you. He'll be back. Don't worry about it. And then they have like a little conversation, Sansa and her, and they like roll up into her parents' room, which is where she's staying now. And
which Arya was like, oh,
Arya booked it real quick.
She's like, you're staying in our parents' room, and she goes, yeah, why?
Yeah, and then
she's like, oh, okay, nothing. And Sansa's like, no, but what? Like, say it.
Yeah.
And Arya's like, no, you always liked fancy things. She's like, it was always you. Like, it made you feel like better than everybody else. I was like, oh my god, there's so much drama between these two girls.
Yeah, she's fully like telling her everything. But then she kind of goes on to say some like really interesting things. Like Arya's like, I know what you really want. Like she kind of like pushes it to this point where she's like, I know what you really want. What do you think that she meant? It.
I don't know, like what, to be queen of Winterfell?
Yeah.
Is that what she meant?
I think that that's what she's kind of implying, where because she was like, you want to like behead everybody who's like who are being traitors, and you want to assert your power.
But you can't because you're scared because like Jon's gonna come back.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I think that Arya was implying that, you know, she's gonna have to usurp Jon somehow.
Yeah.
So she can take real control over Winterfell. I think that is going to be that situation. Like deep down, that is what Sansa wants to do. But then she's like, I got to go to work, so I'll talk to you later. Bye. So over the week, I had another like thought, and we were talking about Sansa a little bit, and it reminded me of the whole situation with like her and her direwolf. We all know at this point in time that all of the Starks have a connection to their direwolves. And as we remember, Lady was killed at Winterfell. And it wasn't because of what Lady did. She died because of what Nymeria had done, protecting Arya.
Right.
And Nymeria like dipped. And so Lady was kind of like the sacrifice to that. So now that we're talking about poetic justice and we're talking about like, you know, all the symbolism, I'm really starting to see that connection between Arya maybe doing something, and in turn Sansa gets in the
middle of it. Like I can def see that now. Yeah. And I can also see an interesting thing with Brienne is that Brienne is still there protecting the two girls.
That's true.
And I wonder if for Brienne it's going to come down to who does she save, Sansa or Arya? Right? Her lifelong friggin' like vow is to protect the two girls, but what if it comes down to who do I choose right now? Like it's a dire situation. Like I have to choose one. Who do I choose to protect?
That'll be an interesting way to
because that will be really messed up. Yeah, because like for the longest time you're like, no, she'll protect both of them. They're sisters. Like they're gonna be on the same side. But like, okay, but what if they're not?
Yeah, and even like going back to like what happened last episode where they had the little duel and like watching Sansa watch them, she sees that there's that bond there.
Yeah,
and she sees that there is gonna be like that kind of like three-way connection.
Protector is she? Like
who is she really gonna protect? And already on top of all this, Sansa's like sketching the fuck out because like Littlefinger like whispered some shit in her ear to make her feel some type of way. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like that we still don't know like how that's gonna fall together, but I definitely see that Sansa and Arya's fates at this point in time are pretty tied together. Just based on like what happened to their direwolves, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just really feel like that's gonna happen.
For sure, you're right. Yeah, for sure.
And on top of the fact that like Lady died at Winterfell, it's just like a very crazy thing
happening
for it to
all
happen.
There. Yeah.
Actually, wait. I think I'm wrong. I think it happened like on the King's Road.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I don't think
thinking about it,
because they had already left. Like when that whole thing happened with the dog biting Joffrey, like they were already middle on the road going to King's Landing. So when he killed her, like they were on the road.
But, I mean, regardless, like she still died on behalf of Arya's dog. Anyway, moving on to King's Landing, and the Onion Knight like lands so fast with Tyrion.
So Davos is MVP this episode.
He's like master rowing. He like rows up into King's Landing.
Like a secret
stealth way because he's like
and like whatever. Tyrion and him like okay see you back in like at 2:00 like meet back here.
Meet me back here. And so he goes on his own mission, which we find out later, and then Tyrion finds a way to talk to Jaime, and it's through Bronn.
Bronn sets it up, yeah.
I don't know how that
We don't know how,
but
that was kind
whatever.
of whatever.
We'll just like pretend that they have like walkie-talkies or something.
Yeah.
And so they meet each other like underneath the crypt, like where the dragon skulls are, because Bronn like lied to him and said like we're gonna train each other and like I'm gonna train you down here, and then Tyrion shows up. And essentially, Tyrion just
and Jaime's like pissed too.
Yeah, I mean Jaime's like cheesed about everything, but also like Tyrion is like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, I really miss you. No, he didn't say that. No. But he basically has to like explain to him. So he's like, the last time I saw you, like Jaime's like, the last time I saw you, I was gonna be like
Dad was gonna kill me, like.
Yeah, and then he's like, I don't care. What the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
And so he's like, I want to have some sort of conversation. Like Daenerys needs to talk to Cersei, and then I guess he like gives him the lowdown about the whites and like
what needs to happen, and it kind of cuts off to that.
Then it cuts to like one of the biggest moments that we've all been waiting for the longest freaking time.
So Sir Davos is walking through like the
blacksmith
flea
area.
Bottom, whatever it's called, but it's like the blacksmith area, and as soon as you see like the steel and like that, I'm like, okay, he's here.
Yeah,
he's here.
Yeah, we looked
at each other. And then because he's the one who like sent him off, right?
Yeah.
So like he would know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he goes and he sees Gendry like in his like shop. So he's like working. He's like, wow, you came to King's Landing? He goes, yeah, like I figured like here I'd be like, it's like too obvious for me, so like why not?
Yeah.
And then Sir Davos is like, okay, you ready to go? He's like, yeah, I'm down. He's like, let's go. He's like, I've been waiting for you all these years. He's like, let's go. Like wherever you want me to go with you, I'll go with you.
Yeah. He's like done. He was sick, He was done because he was like, I'm here like making weapons for like the people who killed my family and tried to kill me.
Exactly. So like I'm better off somewhere else.
I'm down to like do whatever. And then he pulls out this like freaking
hammer, like crazy
random
hammer.
ass like crazy hammer, and he's like, I don't like use a sword, I use a hammer.
Yeah.
And it's like this next level hammer.
That's cool.
Then we kind of get to this point where like they're all about like getting back to the ball, or they're about to leave. They're getting ready to leave, and they bump into like
these two
soldiers. And so it's like this really, really long exchange.
Like nerve-wracking. I was like, oh god,
kind of nerve-wracking. Kind of nerve-wracking, like, but also like I felt like I knew what was gonna happen by the end of it anyway.
So Sir Davos is like playing it cool. He's like, I'll pay you guys off, take the money, cool, fine, bye.
Yeah.
And then after he's like the guard's like, but wait, what's in your bowl?
Yeah.
And then like they go up to the bowl and like Sir Davos is like, here, I have like fish for you. Like it's like a thing.
It's like an
aphrodisiac. Take it. They're like, okay, cool. They take that. Then you're like, okay, sick. Like they're going off now. Friggin' Tyrion shows up, like right creeping, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like he doesn't even try to hide. He just like goes right in front of them.
He just like walks right in front of them as if he's like normal. And then
they book him. They're like, what's that on your face? You have a scar? We were looking for like.
You got a scar?
We were looking for someone like that.
Like from time.
Over the scar, And then sure enough, like at that point, Gendry's like, okay, like we're screwed. So he just like picks up his hammer and he like kills both. Smashes them both. Yeah. And then Tyrion, him and Davos end up leaving again.
And they're like, okay, cool, bye.
Yeah.
I guess I feel like that moment we're supposed to see that Gendry can like actually use a hammer.
Yeah, it works and like they're gonna make it out safe. Yeah.
I just felt like that kind of moment. I know it was supposed to be like this whole like exchange of conversation and like what they're gonna get away from it, but I felt like it was dragged out a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Considering they're like accelerating every little thing, you think that they would just.
You know what? It really felt. It felt like someone was hitting fast forward. Yeah. And I was like, oh my god, like everything's happening like really quickly too. So quickly.
I guess they had to have that moment to like be slow.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Jaime, kind of rolling up to Cersei and is like, hey, I just talked to Tyrion, and she's like pissed.
She's like, haha, I know. Like she already knew, like this bitch knows everything. She's like, your friend Bronn, eh? Like it's him. Yeah. And then Jaime's like, fuck, this woman knows everything.
Everything, yeah. So then she gets kind of pissed about that. She's like, what does he want me to do? Like, what does our brother have to say? And then Jaime goes on to say, like, listen, he wants like you and the queen to meet. There's this like army of the dead coming through.
Yeah, like, we have to team up, like, whatever. Team up. And she's like, okay. She's like, fine. She's like, I'll meet up with her. She's like, I'm gonna play it like how our dad would play it. Like, it's better if we like kind of like, I guess, like know her better. Because at this point, like Cersei knows that she can't beat Khaleesi. Like she knows that. Yeah. So she's gonna have to do something else or play it a different way. To get through, and that kind of scares me. Because I don't know.
Because she plays dirty. Yeah. So we know that like maybe that's not gonna be the way it's gonna go.
And then she's like, we have to protect what's ours. And like points to her stomach.
She like rubs her
and
belly.
Jaime's like, oh my god, like he got so happy.
He starts crying.
He like kisses her, and I'm like, that bitch is fucking lying. Yeah. Like I know I'm like, she's lying. And then as soon as like they hug, and Jayla's like, yeah, you're so right.
Yeah. Because then it cuts to her face, and she's like, don't betray me again.
Yeah, she don't ever do that again. Yeah, like, and that's how the way she controls him. Like she knows exactly what to say. Yeah. And now that he knows there's a baby on the way, he'll do whatever it is to like protect her.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Like she got him.
I think that's what's gonna be
100%
the thing.
As soon as
we've been wondering for episodes now, weeks, on what is it gonna be that's gonna throw Jaime over the edge, that's gonna kill Cersei. Because we know that Jaime is gonna kill Cersei. Like we know that. Yeah. We don't know for sure. We're like we that's what we think. Right. And that will be that.
For sure.
For sure. If she ends up saying, no, I wasn't pregnant ever. Yeah. I just lied to you because you're so easy to control.
Definitely.
Freaking like stab her in the stomach.
Do you think at this point in time that they're having these close vicinity conversations? We were talking about Tyrion ending up in King's Landing at some point in time too. Do you think that Tyrion, I know we literally just talked about him becoming like one of the Dragon Riders, but do you now potentially see Tyrion being in the mix of this? Like Cersei finding a way to kill Tyrion.
I don't think she'll kill Tyrion. I honestly feel like when Cersei goes out, I feel like something's gonna happen where it's gonna make us like her a little bit more. Okay. I feel like something she's gonna do where like, oh my god, Cersei, then Jaime kills her. That it's gonna
like this it's really gonna hurt tragic, so this much. Like really tragic ending.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't know how we're gonna like it.
I don't know what that means. Like I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that like what's gonna happen, but I can see them doing that. Like maybe she's gonna really come through for the White Walkers. Like maybe she's gonna really help them, like defeat them. Yeah. And we're gonna be like, wow, like Cersei came through.
And then he finds out about the baby, and then like
something, something. Yeah. Or like maybe she does kill Tyrion. You're right. And then Jaime's like, that's it. I'm done. Yeah.
And you lied about the baby. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Yeah, for sure. Or he like gets Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But then it cuts to Dragonstone, and Gendry meets Jon. And they're like the hot best friends now. Yeah. Like it's like, I know you, Dad.
Like, our dads are besties.
Like you're gonna be besties with me. I love your hair, whatever. And so then he's like, he doesn't really know how to. He's not really a soldier, but he wants to fight. And then he's like, okay, you can come through with me, right?
Yeah, like right away, John's like, okay, you can come through.
Yeah. What I had assumed was at this point in time, Gendry is like a blacksmith. He's going to be the one that's going to be making all the weapons for the war.
Yeah.
But
which
I guess,
can still be the case.
I guess it can still be the case, but he also wants to like actually physically
he wants to fight
help
with his
and,
hammer.
like, protect or whatever. Like his fucking hammer. So then that's what he does. John like dips, and like there's that like final like longing moment from Daenerys being
God, totally.
She was like, I was growing fond of you.
Yeah.
I was like, really cute.
Yeah, he's like, if I never come back, she goes, no.
She really is showing her her way, her like feels.
She wants him for sure.
Absolutely. Like she's definitely like putting it out there, and he's like, okay, bye.
Yeah, he needs to get to work though.
Yeah, I guess so.
But like, I think, the next time he sees her, I think he's gonna know who he is.
But I don't think that's gonna change until the war of the White Walkers is over. Just because of the fact that you're right, he's focused on this. He's like, it's not gonna matter if I'm a love of my life or this, and this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at the end of the day, like we're all gonna die.
These people.
You know? Or we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wish you all the best in the wars to come. And she's like, say, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like, okay, love you. And then Dany and Jorah have a moment again too. He's like, goodbye, Jorah, man. Like he's so in love with her, but now that John's in the mix, I'm like, okay, Jorah.
Yeah, he's always been so extra.
Yeah, he's always so extra. If it wasn't like him, it was like always like
Dario,
or somebody else. Anyway, but yeah, like shipping Dany and John.
Yeah.
Like I really hope that kind of comes through at some point in time. Then it cuts to the Citadel, and they're all like kind of chilling, or Sam and Gilly and the kid
like reading a book again,
reading books and just chilling. And Gilly actually like stumbles on some really interesting
cool
information that we, as viewers,
as the audience, were like, "What?" But as Sam, he totally overlooks it. He doesn't even respond to what she's saying.
Any type of way about it.
And basically, what she's saying is, she's like, "Oh, this one maester." She's like, "He recorded everything.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like he recorded how many times he took a shit a day, like all these things." She goes, it even says like that he was asked by Rhaegar to perform an annulment, because she was asking, she's like, what's an annulment? He's like, da, da, da. She's like, Rhaegar asked him to do an annulment for him.
Like a secret annulment.
Like a secret annulment in Dorne, because he was going to marry another woman.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, it's Lyanna. Like he was going to leave the Dornish woman. He's going to go to Lyanna. But then Sam like doesn't listen. He's like, oh, he sketches out.
Because he's already frustrated. He's like,
this is so stupid. Like they don't listen to anything I say.
Yeah,
like
he's like, I'm done with these people.
And so he literally like goes back to the library, steals like all the books, like not all of them obviously,
like all the important ones he can find,
and then he dips. He like packs up his family, gets a carriage, and like literally in the middle of the night, like they're off, like they're gone. Which totally makes sense now, because the Tullys are like they're dead now. The Tarleys are like dead, so he's gonna go there.
So basically what you predicted in the beginning of the episode is happening like right now. His whole entire lineage is gone.
Yeah, so now he's gonna go back
through and like take over the castle, which is cool. He was like, I'm tired of reading about the achievements of other men, because Gilly's like, I'm so sorry, I thought you wanted to become a maester.
You wanted to be maester for so long, but he's like, I want to do it, not just read about it.
Exactly.
Like, he's right.
I get it. Then it cuts to Winterfell, and then some shady shit's happening.
Some lurkage happening right now.
Lurkage. So Arya's looking hard.
Arya's looking hard on Littlefinger. Yeah.
Littlefinger is obviously planning some weird shit, or is he? That's, I think, the question that we kind of have at the end of the scene. So we see him kind of talking to some woman that kind of looks like Sansa, which I think might be key.
Like, he's just like whispering.
He's whispering. I don't know. Like maybe it is.
I don't know, man.
You never
this guy's plans can be anything at this point.
Honestly.
Anyways, he's definitely shady. Yeah. He's being shady.
And she's watching him. She's like trying to like clock him at every moment, and like she sees him talking to like the other leaders. The other
top leaders, I think, too. Yeah. Like the ones with like the big armies.
The first thing that I thought is like, is he trying to do
like
some
rebellion?
Some little uprising or whatever. And then she like goes to his room, and he like gets something
she sees him at his room. Yeah. And like the guy like talking to like Littlefinger, he's like, here's your like the raven that you wanted or something. And he's like, he's like, Sansa thanks you so much. Yeah. Yeah. Like as if it was Sansa's request, but it wasn't.
Exactly.
And then he goes back into his room, he does something, whatever, he comes back out, he dips. So Arya's like, okay, it's my chance to go in there and like creep. So she goes in there, and it was so nerve-wracking because I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna get caught. Like she's gonna get caught. Yeah. She finds the stupid raven note or whatever. It was like, or if that was even the raven note that we think it was. She reads it. I don't even know what the hell. I didn't understand what it said.
So we were trying to like we even like pause it and try to like
read it. We know it was from Sansa. Like it was signed by Sansa, but it was like. It was wording to King Joffrey, so I didn't understand.
It was something about King Joffrey. So what I had assumed was it was Sansa writing a letter to somebody saying that Littlefinger is the one that killed Joffrey. Okay. That is what my assumption is, because we don't know that she had gone out and like told everybody this like secret. Yeah. You know, because he admitted it to her like when he kidnapped her and like took her away. So I don't know. I'm not really sure if that has anything to do with it. It might be,
or it's just Littlefinger planting fake evidence for Arya to find.
Exactly, because we end off the scene with Arya kind of like low-key locking the door.
She runs away, and then you see Littlefinger watching her.
Don't you know that Littlefinger's the master lurker?
Like, I know, she slips up really hard.
He's the king of the lurk. Like he knows everything and is always lurking. Yeah. So she's been kind of outsmarted by the fact that he's kind of like paid attention to everything too. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know what that has to do with anything right now. I don't know if he's kind of
I think Littlefinger will be the end of Sansa if that is the case. Like, he's gonna disturb the shit that's in there. Yeah. Between them in the Winterfell, and he's gonna be the one that stirs the pot. And
I guess at the end of the day, like he's not gonna be the one that's gonna like he already knows what everybody can do. And he already knows that there's a wedge between.
He doesn't do anything anyways. He never does anything.
He always just incites things into place
that actually just do that. Like they play it out themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, that made me nervous.
And then it cuts to the edge of the wall. So this is where our redhead man is chilling, and he's got his like army. Yeah. He's like protecting the wall.
Eastwatch.
Yeah. And
so Jon gets there. They arrive. Whatever. Yeah, they're like, okay, cool. We have to go get the evidence for the queen. We have to show them. And he's like, okay. He's like, there's people in like in the jail, I guess. Right. Like go like say hi to them or something. Yeah. Like I don't know why they even went down. And it's the Hound and the two guys that are like the Lord of Lights or the Brotherhood, whatever. And anyways, so then they also like join them too. He's like, yeah, might as well just like help you guys too. Yeah. And then
so there's all these like random connections. Like Jorah knows one of the guys from the Brotherhood, and like Jorah's there. So like they're all gonna go and like walk in like past the wall to catch a white. And I think, and then that's
it was a sick shot at the end, like watching this whole squad of men who like came from so many different parts of the show, and now they're all together,
like on one mission,
seeing them on one mission. Yeah. And they're like, Jon, you ready to go back out? And he goes, yeah. Like, the snow's like blowing. I'm like, oh, God. Yeah. But yeah, that was the ending of the episode. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm sure they're going to get like the evidence. I'm sure they will. Right. But we do know.
Consequential though at that point?
I don't know. We do know there's a massive, massive battle scene with the White Walkers. Yeah. And I bet you that's going to happen next week. At East. Because that's episode 6, right? Yeah, like that's it. So. Sure. There's one more episode after that. So that's like kind of episode 9 of this season. Yeah. So there probably will be a big like interaction next week with the White Walkers.
Next episode's gonna be crazy. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how like everything kind of is falling together. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Yeah. Because I think this episode was
really, I mean, it was not as good as last week, obviously, but still really like everything was really happening so quickly.
Fast. It was like
a joke almost. We were like laughing. I'm like, holy cow! But I get it. I get why they have to move this fast.
Like every single time a scene started, I was like, shit, they're already there. Like shit, they're already there. Like they're already like moving. Oh, it's everywhere. Already happening. Yeah. Like literally, Jon got to the wall like in 5 seconds. He like was just a Dragonstone. Yeah. How did that even happen?
It's gonna be lit.
Like when you really think about it, that means that he went from Dragonstone past Winterfell and went to like freaking Eastwatch.
But it's kind of like on the coast, I think, too.
So he
like Eastwatch is on the coast.
So he sailed there
on the north.
It literally takes like days to sail. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Like, and also it reminded me like if they're sailing up that way, where the fuck is Euron?
True.
Like where's he?
What happened to Euron, anyways?
I can't.
Or is he posted up at Casterly Rock? He's on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's on the west side. Yeah. They're on the east side.
True. Yeah. Like now they're
on that water.
Taking care of that shit, for sure.
But yeah, that's it, guys.
That's it, guys.
Let us know your thoughts and your predictions. Follow us, tweet us at recap_rewind. We want to hear your like predictions because like it's almost coming to an end and like.
Then we gotta wait another year.
But yeah, that was good.
All right. Bye.
Bye.